and our own Hariharan. They were the two students from 12 with that wonderful, amazing Jugal Bandi. We'll cherish it, and thank you so much. We have a lot of talents, and we have all seen that. Maybe in the evening, maybe some other time, keep in touch. We have our own Tessa. You all can be in touch there with the Tagorian Society, our ex-Tagorian Society. You all must contribute there and be part of it, and keep coming there to showcase your talent. And we'll of course cherish that always. Thank you so much again. Thank you 12Ts for being the amazing, talented, multifaceted batch you were. And we now of course we are all waiting for Arunoday Mukherjee to say a few words. I must let you know that he is no less talented than any one of you in his multifaceted capacity as the news presenter, reporter, news analyst. Arunoday has been has had a meteoric rise, as you have seen. All of you must have seen him. He's a very popular face, and we really want you to come and share your experience, your journey, your learning process, and whatever, to maybe inspire. Hopefully they will be inspired and enlightened them. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I told Roomna ma'am not to share any of the embarrassing stories that I had when I was in school. So thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. Just take her away, please, fast. No, ma'am. Thank you so much. What a wonderful morning I've had, and I almost don't want it to end. And I could tell Madhu ma'am was constantly doing this to the students. So I was like, just let them have their day today, because honestly, these are the boring parts of the day. But nevertheless, I've come here. And I'm feeling very, very proud to be here. You know, I stood here several years ago. I'm not going to give the number for obvious reasons. I came here several years ago and stood at the same podium, wearing a uniform like you guys, wearing a badge of the cabinet like you guys, and now I'm speaking at the same podium in a slightly different capacity. But I'd like to thank you guys for the opportunity that you've given me, that I've come here on a day like today, which is so important to all of you. It's such an important and crucial day, and I understand the sentiment with every clap that is ringing loud in this auditorium, with every woo that is coming out, with every joke that is being cracked. You know, I understand the sentiment behind it, because you know, each one of those claps are loaded with the memories that you've made over here, and I think that's what this batch stands for. What I've seen today is unity, is a lot of comfort in the way in which you guys interact with each other, and I've seen immense confidence. I mean, I can't even imagine this kind of confidence that you guys are exhibiting, which is really, and you guys need a round of applause for that, really, because as you stand on the cusp of leaving your teenage years and entering adulthood, I think this is the spirit that is going to take you the distance, and I think that spirit is something that you've honed over here in the family of Tagore International School. You know, I'd just like to say that you're going to be sort of, taking off your uniforms for the last time today and donning a different uniform of life as you look at colleges, as you look at your professional future careers. But don't leave behind the memories that you've made. And I think with all that I've heard, I don't think it's possible that you can leave behind those memories, because this school has really given you a lot. It's given me a lot. And I think that's where I stand here, not as a capacity as a journalist today, but as a person who's what he is because of the time he spent in a school like Tagore International School. And I'd just like to say that where you are sitting, there used to be these threadbare red and black daris. There used to be fans whirring in the corners. None of these fancy red, I don't even know what they're called. None of that. No chairs. We used to be sitting, scrunched up together, with the doors open. Bahadur Bhaiya would still be looking after ensuring every mic doesn't do the sound, right? Bahadur Bhaiya, yaad hai? So he's helped us perform a lot of our concerts over here. And anyway, I remember all of these people. One over here was sitting there, still sitting there ensuring the sound goes off absolutely perfect. All of these guys play a big role in shaping you guys. And I'm so happy that you guys recognize that. The first thing, when what I heard was the fact that the opening statement today was inspired by what Ramdas Bhaiya said. You know, and I'm glad because you are appreciating the finer points. School is not just about the, you know, the chemistry textbooks, the chapters. It's about all these little sentiments, which you clearly have picked up, thanks to the kind of guidance that you've got. And I think that's where. The reason why I mentioned the durries over here, the reason why I mentioned fans instead of air conditioned, today I asked Madhu ma'am while coming in, I was like, should I carry my muffler inside? Like a true Bengali who feels cold. Should I carry my muffler inside? They said, no, you'll probably feel hot inside. And suddenly I remember, oh right, it's a properly heated auditorium, right. You know, you have several computer labs, you've got an elevator for crying out loud. I mean, really, wow. Yeah, that's pretty fancy, okay? You got fancy branded school buses. We used to have a private transporter where all the buses used to be called Chunmun A, Chunmun B, Chunmun C. Okay, because we apparently represented Chunmuns. Okay, so the uniform was blue pants, white shirts, that's it. The only exciting thing was the badge that I had, a Pragati House badge. The only, so they, you know, that was the only exciting, the bright spot on that uniform. So I think Madhu ma'am has worked a lot on that as well. The reason why I mention what TIS was at that time and what TIS is today, jokes apart, I'm trying to explain to you the growth story. And I think the growth story of a Tagore International School is symbolic of your growth story, right? When you came in as children. When you're leaving as adults. And I think that's a great responsibility that this school has given you as well. And it has equipped you absolutely perfectly, I'd say, to handle the future responsibilities that will be coming your way. College, professional life, marriage, children, and the cycle starts again. So this is where it all starts, is what I'm trying to say essentially. And you know, I mean, what this school prepared me for was to be able to handle everything with the kind of confidence that it gave me. And I have had a very tough job. Every job is tough, but I've had my set of challenges as well because of the kind of subject that I handled. It's taken me to very, very difficult areas of the country in very difficult times. And you know, in times of crisis or in times of conflict, what stands with you is who you are. And who you are is what this school has really made you, right? Who you are, you know, when you go to the gym, I remember one of the guys, someone was complimenting about his muscles, I don't know who it was. So, when you go to the gym, you know, the instructor says that, this was my way of telling you guys that I tried the gym at some point in time. Anyway, you know, they always say that, you know, work on your core, right? Work on your core because the core is where your strength lies. This is your core, this right here. What you're seeing, this is your core, and everything else is the strength you build on that core. So your core is strong, guys. This is your core, which is really strong, and it's sending you out into the world with a lot of strength and a lot of ability, a lot of confidence. I'd like to also say that, I mean, how can we not talk about Madhu ma'am, right? Madhu ma'am and I share a very, very special relationship. It wasn't like this when I was in school. But we share a very special bond. Maybe she'll tell you about it someday. There's a lot of respect for ma'am, and you know, I know that a lot of you, it's become a sort of a standing joke about how strict Madhu ma'am is, and you know how sort of, you know, I still remember when we were in school, the only thing that would ring in our classroom ki Madhu ma'am round pe hai, and you would hear the heels going click, click, okay, and then everyone would just literally be on attention. I don't know if it happens still. Does it happen still? Alright, so and that booming voice, and that's not changed. When I came into school today at 8:05, I still walked in, you know, gingerly, and all I could hear was, why aren't these lines straight? What is happening over here? That's still trademark voice. But having said that, to make the school what it is, you need to be tough. And I think that toughness comes with the leadership which Madhu ma'am has exhibited. And that leadership quality and the toughness and the strength that you've seen Madhu ma'am, you know, display in her personality has seeped through the walls of Tagore International School over the years. It has seeped through the walls, and every time you walk through these corridors, that strength and that confidence has seeped through the walls, hopefully into your personalities as well, which is what I've seen today. Take that personality with you, make that a part of yourself, because Madhu ma'am is the best leader you can have. She's taken this school to an incredible point where people, when we used to start out, we used to say, किसी ने पूछा कि कौन से स्कूल में पढ़ते हो? Tagore International School. अच्छा ये कहाँ पे है? वो बसंत विहार branch है. Now you say Tagore International School, you don't have to say anything else, right? You say Tagore International School. Oh, Tagore International School. अच्छा कुछ admission का जुगाड़ है क्या? That's just look at that. That's the kind of profile it has. So I'd like to say this to the parents as well, because you guys have made a very, very good choice, because I'm speaking from experience, and this is an emotional moment for me, because I feel so happy that I can still come back to the school feeling the sense of smile. I mean, all the conductors outside were standing after their duty. It was like such a warm moment where I gave everyone a hug. It was so nice. Walked in, Ramdas Bhaiya is there, Bahadur Bhaiya is there, Ashok Bhaiya is there. Everyone. So it's a great feeling to come back. But also, after Madhu ma'am, I'd like to say the teachers. A lot of teachers I have personal rapport with, Anuradha Arora ma'am. She's taught me. Of course, I used to also drift in and out of some sort of imaginary, this thing. So I still remember Anuradha ma'am would be talking about geography, and she'd be like, concentrate. She would look at me and snap. I still remember, thank you for that. I did concentrate, and I think I've done okay. Saroj ma'am also, Roomna ma'am also, several of the teachers who've taught me. So I share a special bond with everyone, the teachers, and I know because my mother is a teacher as well. Incidentally, she was a teacher here. I've seen the side of a student interaction with teachers. I've also seen the side of teachers, the kind of lives that they lead, and I know it's difficult. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication, often at the cost of your own family time, sacrifices that you make so that the students can have it the best. So I think be thankful for that as well, because the kind of preparations nowadays that teachers have to do while going into their classes is immense. So I think that also deserves a big round of applause to all the teachers who dedicate their life. It's not just ending, when you guys end. Their work begins after your classes end as well. So they also have homework, only of a different kind. So I think that all of that has really shaped who you guys are today. What else? I mean, I don't know if I was just trying to figure out what are the areas I need to cover. But again, the kind of extracurriculars that I saw today, I love the fact that there is equal importance given to Hindustani classical music. You guys were great, by the way, excellent. I mean, that was brilliant work. We started with Western classical. At our time, we just had we just started out doing Western music. It was this new thing which we were exploring. Madhu ma'am started the entire thing of the annual function, where I remember we were the guinea pigs, so we started the first play that we've done. But that was the first time when we were given the sense of independence. When a child is treated as an adult, I think that's the true test that the teachers give you, right? They're giving you an opportunity. The fact that you're allowed to make your own decisions, the fact that you're allowed to do it with freedom, you're allowed to do it with responsibility, shows you a way forward. What you've learned in the school is like a small trailer of the larger movie that is in store. And I think this trailer has been excellent. I think you guys have had a really good trailer, and picture abhi baki hai. So your picture is certainly going to be a blockbuster. I can tell you that. It's going to be a big blockbuster. I'm not going to go on for too long before Madhu ma'am starts doing this to me as well. But I can go on and on about stories of school. I have funny stories, I have lots of interesting anecdotes, but I think I'm going to stop here and just say that it's been great. And I think we say to go to international school every day, and I really hope you remember the man after whom the school is named, because the values that he inculcated about community, about secularism, about society, about women's rights, about everything, are all principles that you should carry forward today as well. And this has been a place where you've held your mind high without fear, where knowledge has been free and you've not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. So you've held your head high and continue doing that even in the world outside. So I'm going to end on that note of the great Rabindranath Tagore. Thank you very much for having me. Congratulations once again. All the very best. All the very best. Do very well. I can see you guys will, because again, as I said, the start's been great. The entire race and the finish is going to be equally great. Congratulations. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arunada. You sort of made us all, especially the teachers who taught you, back to memory lane, And I'm sure each of you could identify with a lot of things that Arunada has said. I'm sorry, Arunada Mukherjee, I'm very sorry. I just keep forgetting that. And wonderful, yes. I think, as you said, nothing much has changed in the sense that we are progressing, yes, every day in leaps and bounds. And Madhu ma'am hasn't changed either, excepting the clickety-clock, like you said, the sounds of a bit, but stealthily done now. She kind of goes around softly, pouncing on the others or whatever the students. But Of course. Thank you so much again. And most importantly, what he said was, and what you all should keep in mind is that you all are leaving with a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders. You're no longer going to be treated as a child or children. And believe you me, only when you leave your school life do you remember and you understand how precious and important that is, more than anything else. So once again, congratulations on embarking on this new journey. And Tagore International School. It started as a visionary's dream of establishing a top-notch educational institution, a school that aspires to mold and guide bright, new future generations of enlightened minds, following the ideals of the great visionary, poet and polymath Gurudev Tagore, and abide by the school motto, which believes that each child is worthy and has something worthy about them. TIS students will always be your nurturing grounds where you can come back. Your practicing fields where you found your voice, your conviction, your confidence. It was possible because, of course, the intuitive and progressive and the firm leadership qualities initiated by Madhu ma'am, by Mrs. Madhulika Sen. And we are also confident today that under the very able leadership and guidance of Mrs. Veena Singh, our principal, we are also going to keep on not only doing what we have been doing, perhaps even better, and keep the Tagorean banner flying high in flying colors. Ma'am, Principal Veena Singh ma'am, may I please ask you to please come up and address this very august batch of 2008 and also the distinguished audience.
Good morning. I feel privileged to be here. But at the foremost, I would like once again to thank Mr. Mukherjee for being with us today and being inspiring everyone else. I'd also like to take this opportunity to show my gratitude to our chairperson and education advisor, Mrs. Sen, for creating this ecology around us. Thank you, ma'am, because whatever we see here is the ecology that she has built over here. I'd also like to thank the parents for being here, for sparing your valuable time in all our endeavors. And of course, to the students. But foremost, I would like to apologize to the batch of class 12 students. I feel like an intruder who has barged into it at a phase, honestly, I came in at a transition phase when you were bidding your goodbye to the school, and there was a new principal that was thrusted upon you. So, with due apologies for being here, because I know your mentor has been Mrs. Sen, and what we see here is she who has built it. So, I will not give you a typical principal gyan. I'll keep it very brief. Yet, I would talk upon two important points which I want you to reflect and introspect. Being in Tagore International School, and Tagore is very close to me. I follow Rabindranath Tagore, and he always wanted a wonder child. Your school wanted you to be a wonder child, a child who could think, who is sensitive, and who is compassionate. Someone who is able to create a niche for himself or herself, to make a mark behind, to leave a mark, to make a mark in the world, and be a worthy Tagorean. Have you achieved it? I'm very sure you will achieve it in the years to come. And the second important thing I want to tell you is to remind about Winston Churchill, who said, the future umpires will be the umpires of the mind. The professions that you would be facing in your lives from now onwards will be, and perhaps it's going to be predictably unpredictable. It's going to be like Walt Disney said, imaginers. A combination of imagination and the power of engineering. So it's like law and lyrics will exist together. Mathematics and magic will coexist. Are you prepared for it? We simply do not want, I'm very sure, the school did not want you to only know how to earn your living. It is not about earning an acquisition, it is about discovering the undiscovered. It is about exploring. And whatever I know of the school has equipped you with that skill to empower yourself for the future. Have you utilized every moment of that? The school has taught you and awakened you to your integrated intelligence, to the right knowledge. Have shown you the path. It's been a journey from taking you from the finite to the infinite. It is like telling you to find out how many seeds an apple has to how many apples can be from a seed. Have you done this? Now all this is because, I quote Rabindranath Tagore, the steps that you hear in your childhood plays, the music resounds in the music of the world. And the steps that you heard in your childhood, because even if you're 14 years in school and you pass out, to us you will always be a child. And this center of excellence has been able to achieve because of one leader. Students, it is the leader who creates the institutions, and later on, it is the institution who produces numerous leaders. The progress that we were talking about since morning, are you going to be leaders of tomorrow? And that is the vision, and that is the dream the leadership of the school had, and none other than your own Madhulika Sen ma'am, or proud, you can call her Madhu ma'am famously. So I think this entire ceremony, the attachment, the ethos, the understanding of leadership would be incomplete till ma'am comes on the stage, and I request Madhu ma'am to please come and address the students. Thank you so much.
I have the privilege of wishing you good afternoon. It's been 3 hours. Why do you think I was looking at my watch, wondering whether you have the capacity to sit through another speech by me? It's a very emotional moment. It's the last year Rubna ma'am is going to be here. She's retiring. I know. A big hand for her. It's a loss to the school, that's enough. And finally, my last speech as principal director. I have no idea what I am right now. I wanted to speak because you're my last batch that I've been dealing with, not the last batch, I'm teaching GS2. And it's a special day also because of, I refuse to call him Mr. Mukherjee. I've actually seen him since he was very young. And, it's not ironic, but I'm feeling very, very blessed that today is the day when we have our ex-student who's done so well in life. Being over here, of course, very embarrassing for you to talk about me. And I really didn't know. Devashi, where are you people? Devashi and Amo. I'm just saying the difference between you and me, 40 years. And what you said when you started speaking is what I felt yesterday. That should I start my speech with a quote? I said, nah, it's very outdated. What should I do? And I went through the same pangs every year because I'm not a very inspirational or a motivational speaker. All of you are more used to my booming voice. That's coming later. And giving you instructions, threatening you, and a whole lot of other things rather than, I don't know what to say because I am emotionally slightly at a weak moment right now. I know it's very rare. I don't know, very few people know it, I never wanted to be a teacher. When I was pushed into doing my B.Ed, I cried writing my B.Ed exam because I wanted to be an artist rather than get into this. But when I did, because for whatever the reason I became a teacher, there's one thing I decided, that whatever I'm going to do, is going to be 120%. Sadhnik, you hit the nail on the head wherever you are. When you said that I have always insisted on not accepting mediocrity. Students, we have not trained you to be mediocre students. Don't indulge in this chalta hua attitude or whatever work is given to you or whatever assignment you're dealing. You know, after 3 years, once you finish college, after 4 years, or hopefully after 4 years only, and not more, whether it's engineering, medicine, or whatever you're doing, if you take up a job, whatever you do, even your academics, never be mediocre. That is the bane of any emerging young generation. You cannot be happy with doing substandard work. And that's one thing in these 40 years I've not been able to accept from anyone, be it the teachers, students, support staff, or anyone. If you've decided to do something, now these are pearls of wisdom which I very rarely give, which I'm talking about today. If you've decided to do something, take up a job, take up a career, business, whatever you're doing, you have to, from day one, give 120%. Never be satisfied with half-baked effort. The sitting over here was actually dying when all of you were talking about, oh, you know, homework not given, files not complete, this and that, and I'm like, I hope you've trained them that this cannot continue later on in life. You have to be 120%, not 100%. You know, what you do, basically, is what you're getting paid for. How do you show that you're good? How do you show you're excellent? How do you show you're worthy? How do you show that what are the qualities we have tried to imbibe in you while you were in school is going beyond that 100, doing that bit extra. So remember, students, whenever 20, 15, 20 years from now we invite you like we've invited Arunodaya, I should be proud to say that you've been a wonderful hub, or let's say representative of Tagore, and that you've done what you've done, had to do, or whatever you've been doing, much beyond what was expected out of you. You'll be successful. But again, what is a question about success, or what do you mean by success? Most of you will earn enough. Do you agree or not? You have that much confidence in yourself. You'll get a good job, you'll all earn well, you'll build your, whatever your dreams are, travel the world, build a house, marry, and, you know, put your kids in good schools. Tagore International, remember. Okay? But for me, admission granted. Granted now, not even guaranteed, granted for the future ones. Right? But not only him, others also. But when we talk about success, what you mean and what do I perceive success to be? You know, sitting over here today, I was feeling very blessed that maybe whatever I've done with the best of my intentions. And I feel I've been successful is because of the number of lives probably I have touched. Arunodaya, thank you for those wonderful words. This was about 10 days ago. You would not believe. I got a note from a student who left school in 1982. He was in the 8th standard and his sister was in the 10th standard. And after they left school, I kept in touch with them. I'm in touch with a lot of ex-students. And when she got married, she sent me pictures, and when she had her Rukhsati, she's a Muslim girl, I had all those pictures, and then we lost touch. And he contacted me 35 years later. And again, you know, when we were talking about, he was talking about the school, and his sister got in touch with me. And they were all talking about all the kind of things they did in school and the fondness with which they remembered me and the school. That's when I felt that, yes, I have been able to touch some lives. And I'm blessed that I have students, ex-students, who at least imbibed something. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, children, but definitely whatever you do, if you're able to touch, if you're able to influence a few lives around you while you're on your way to material success, that would be your real achievement in life. Never forget the people around you, never forget to impact others who may not look or sound very important at that time, but leave something else behind rather than your pursuit of either work excellence or your achievement in material terms. And third, on your journey, never forget people who are important to you. I've always been a believer of large families. I've always been a believer that if you don't respect your elders, you do not deserve anything in life. Never forget your parents' children. You know, some of you may become very busy, earning money, very busy in your lives, maybe later on as you get married, have kids or whatever it is. Never forget your family. They are the ones who've been with you, stood behind you, have been the invisible support, which you may not even have realized. You know, most of you fight with your parents. I've heard about generation gap, and I've heard about parents not understanding, or we are the black and white era, I was called once, compared to the millennials. No, Generation Z, sorry, Generation Z. I stand corrected. I called you the millennials, I was outdated. Agreed. We parents do not know where you are or which generation you're really going very fast. But we're still there with you, behind you, for you, embracing you and ensuring that you never feel a lack of support in your vulnerable moments. You can count on us. I am 2 generations above you. I'm just talking about you and your parents right now. Ensure that you give them what they deserve, the respect and your time. Very important. I don't know what other wisdom I have to give you. When you go out and you talk about being a Tagorean, please don't drag your feet. Children, talk well, dress well, shoulders straight, proper manners, what I've been teaching you, button closed, chin up, and how to shake hands. I was dying here on the stage today the way you were giving your limp hand to shake. Please remember some of the general studies topics we did. And Sadnik, I know I talked about Gavarpati, my favorite phrase. Yes. You are capable, all of you are much more than that, definitely. Partly because we pushed you and partly because we've given you the opportunity to excel, to show your talent, to ensure that whatever field you wanted to be a part of it, you were never stopped. But something that you have to take from the school, you have to show ahead and you have to prove yourselves to be worthy Tagorean. I don't want you to forget. So be deserving of the school later on. Be deserving of the time spent. All of you have realized the time spent by the teachers on you. And of course, just remember, we are your alma mater. Come back to us whenever you need. I don't want to say anything more. I don't know what else to say. Like these two, I also didn't have any clue as to how to start. But you all did a much better. After you finished talking, after the 4 valedictorians, after Reena ma'am, after this, I had nothing much to say. Except I bid you adieu. Goodbye. I'll be around. I'd love to see all of you come as successful students 15, 20 years from now. No, 15 years only, or 8, 13 years, or 10 years. Or no, that. Shh. Okay. And we would like to invite you as chief guest. We would like to invite the musician Sagar as a Spikmake artist in our school. That would be wonderful if you are invited as a Spikmake artist here. Some of you doing well in life, and always remember, whenever you're receiving an award or any privilege, and you're in your thank you speech, do not forget to mention Tagore International School. That's what we made you. Thank you, good luck children. Love you all, we'll miss you. And you and we are in the same situation today. You leaving school, I'm also leaving. Thank you, good luck all of you. And from the entire PR faculty, bless you, your wonderful kids. And with a face, kaha sina maaf karna. Right? God bless. Thank you.